So I've been happily married for the most part to my wife for a little over 30 years. We're financially well off. We've done followed Dave's plan for our entire marriage, raised 3 kids who are now out of the house and being contributing members of society. The question is that since we've become empty nesters, I've been wanting to try to get back to maybe a little bit more romance, maybe get things heated up a little bit again. And my wife is pretty much not interested in that anymore.
How have the conversations gone?
Not very well. I mean, it's, I try to do the things that, try to woo my wife again, back to our old dating years where try to have date nights, go out to dinner, movies, concerts, that kind of thing. Even gone on trips to Europe and try to rekindle things, get things going. But every time I bring up the thought of us being together again, she kind of, doesn't really want to talk about it. It's gotten to the point where, we're at home, we're in separate rooms and separate beds. And quite honestly, it's gone beyond being roommates. Now it's more like 2 people that happen to live in the same building.
Where else is this showing up, Paul? And by the way, I appreciate you having the courage to call. Most men wouldn't have the guts to do this, so I appreciate you having the courage to call. I know this is happening to millions of households all over the country based on what people write in, so thank you for calling.
Yeah, thanks, John, because this is kind of difficult for me to talk about this.
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys who like to take care of everything himself. It's my vocation is kind of like that kind of thing, engineering type background. And, I'm a problem solver.
Yeah.
But, so it's kind of hard to talk about this, but, thanks for helping me out.
You bet, man. So, I'm trying to think where to start even. I guess the thing that concerns me the most at this point is a lack of a conversation. And it sounds like she is very avoidant. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so most days I'll come home and I've pretty much been replaced by a tablet and a cell phone.
Correct.
And she's in her room, working with her, watching shows, talking on the cell phone. So there's not much conversation. Try to do different things with her, to get her out of the house, do things. Even done power yoga with her on weekends. Learn how to play mahjong. Try to get interested in other things that we have common to get things going again.
Dude, you're really putting in the time, man. If you're doing power yoga, way to go. Man.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. When I started that, John, it was like, oh, come on, this can't be that hard. But I'll tell you what. Respect to everybody who does that because it's not easy.
Mad respect to the yogites, man. It's tough stuff.
Absolutely, right. It takes a lot of strength. I'll tell you. But so trying to engage in things like that. But when it comes time to us being together to have a little bit more of a relationship, they're just like the business part of the marriage, I guess I'll call it. I take care of the bills. Go to work, help with the chores. But when it comes time to husband and wife time, she kind of gets defensive, doesn't want to. Tells me she's not interested in that anymore. I understand. We're in our early 60s, and menopause has a play in that.
Sure.
But
also there's multiple options for walking through perimenopause and menopause these days when it comes to how well you feel. Your sexual intimacy, all that stuff. So there's a number of avenues to explore if somebody's interested in those explorations.
Yeah, and when I go down that path to talk about those things, and that she just kind of gets a little bit upset, maybe acts irritated, annoyed, doesn't really want to talk about it.
So here's my deeper question. This is an ad for BetterHelp. I talk to hurting people for a living, and yes, I can help out folks in tiny chunks of time here on the internets, but often more help is needed. That's why I recommend people go to therapy. And if you're thinking about therapy, try BetterHelp. It's 100% online, so it's affordable and convenient. They've got over 30,000 therapists, and they're great at finding just the right one for you. Visit betterhelp.com/Delony for 10% off your first month. Here's my deeper question. And there's an outcropping here. 2 things I'm hearing. One is you've made the comments back to.
Mm-hmm.
And my challenge to you would be, forward looking, who do we want to be for the next 10 years, next 15 years, versus how do we get this thing back? The actions may be exactly the same, but that future orientation for somebody who feels like I'm losing control of my body, which is what I hear from women in perimenopause and menopause. My body is leaving me, the body I knew. This idea that I'm going to get back can be seen as, I'll never get that body back. I'll never be that young spring chicken. I'm never going to be attractive again. All those things versus I'm in love with you now and into the future. Or I'm attracted to you, which is even different than that. I want to be with you now and into the future. Though you may have said all those things and done all those things, but that orientation sometimes is huge. Here's the second thing. She's not on the phone, so I just got you.
Right.
Being reflective, I'm hearing a woman who doesn't like you. Why would she not like you?
That's a difficult one for me to answer because I don't see me.
Okay. But if you had to guess, like would she say for 40 years he hasn't listened to me and he's just problem solved over me, and I got the kids out of here and now I want to live my life, or I had to do what he wanted to do, live in his town. I gave up my life for him and now it's mine. Like what would she say as to the reason, like, I just don't want to be in the same room with you. I don't want to see the bedroom with you. Because that's beneath love, and that's beneath, duty, and that's beneath sex and intimacy. This sounds like somebody who just doesn't like you. And I know that's harsh to say. It's probably the harshest thing I could say to another man. But it sounds like she doesn't like you. Where does that come from, you think?
I don't quite think that's it, John. I mean, other than talking about intimacy, very pleasant. Like I said, we do things together. We go out to lunches and dinners, breakfasts on Saturdays. It kind of seems like I'm more custodial to the relationship, where the things that she seems to be interested now are with her old friends, with some acquaintances she's had in town. Some of the other activities she's involved in. So it's not like I don't get the vibe that she doesn't like me. I feel more like it's kind of I don't want to say, for lack of a better term, deteriorated. Like I said, instead of being a husband and wife pair, it's more like now we're two people that happen to live in the same building.
I know, and I know what I'm saying is hard to hear, but if you ran back what you just said, that's basically you just said what I said in a different way.
Okay.
She likes being with other people. She likes being with her friends. She prefers their company. She will check the boxes. She'll check the boxes with you. She will feed herself. She will live in a home. She'll do things like laundry and or dishes because that's the function of the house. But when it comes to who does she like being around, that's not you.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
And that, let me say this. If you talk to any marriage therapist who's been doing what they do for a while, the most men can get over sexual infidelity. Men can get over financial infidelity. Men can rarely get over my wife doesn't like me, because that's such a core. What's so wrong about me? And for most men, that calls into all the way back to their childhood. Something was wrong with me that I had to go fix. And there's something terrifying about asking that question, which relationally, and this is hard, I would tell you the scariest question to ask is usually the question that must be asked. Because,
yeah, that's true.
Because if she liked you, she would at least talk to you about, hey, I don't feel good in my own body. Sex hurts right now because of menopause, or I feel like I'm crazy, or I feel like she would have that conversation. She won't entertain it. And her way of deflecting is to get frustrated or angry or annoyed. And then if she can get a benefit out of it, if it can be a trip somewhere, if it can be a meal somewhere, she'll endure it. But when it comes to something that intimate, and so that's like the biggest concern here. Lots of 60-year-olds, men struggle with erectile dysfunction, or women with all sorts of, physical challenges after menopause. This seems to be different because y'all can't even have the conversation. And if I were you, that's where I would start, would be like, hey, I want to have a conversation about our friendship. I don't think you like me anymore. And she'll love you. That's just, I get that. But there's a deeper, like, I don't feel like you like me. And if you start with an I statement, it becomes an invitation. And she might get upset and say, I'm going to ask you to not get upset. I'm going to ask you to have this conversation because my heart is hurting right now.
Yeah, and that is how I feel. I mean, yeah, thanks for feeding that back to me, because as I hear how you're explaining this, it does make a lot of sense to me. Like everything we do is functional,
Yeah.
but it's cold. It's not intimate.
That's it. And most men, of course, everyone likes sex and everyone likes like that, but there's something beneath sex that I've come to believe after meeting with so many men and reading so much and just in my own life experience. Sex often says, "You're okay. We're okay."
Mm-hmm.
And absent of that, like it can, I mean, it just gets tough, man. And in your mind, your engineering mind, you've checked every Excel spreadsheet box possible: finances, money, trips, food, successful kids. And then there's this like nagging question in your guts, like, what's wrong with me?
Exactly.
And I think if you use I statements and ask your wife, hey, as your husband of however many years, 40 years, 30 years, I'm going to ask you to stay present in this conversation. My heart's broken because I feel like you don't like me. Am I unlikable?
All right.
And
it's interesting too. I mean, my reactions to the way our situation now is, I mean, it brings the frustration and resentment to me, because like you're saying, I don't understand. I feel like I'm doing what I should do.
Yeah.
Yet I'm not getting any kind of reciprocation or response or anything.
Right. And it's going to sound like you're a submissive question, which I think is a great thing, but it might be a hard question. If you ask the question, how do I become more likable? Not more sexually attractive, or how can we have more sex, but how can I become more likable? How can I become your friend again?
Mm-hmm.
That will force I'll be quiet. You're my friend. But I'm not.
Right.
And how do I become your friend again? Because I know that you don't, I get the sense you don't like me. And I think for anyone listening, I'm just putting myself in your seat, man. I've had that conversation a few times I've been married 23 years. I've had that conversation a few times, and it's a nightmare of a question. I'd much rather ask any other question than that. And
yeah, you're right, because it all starts there. I mean, everybody's different, but I mean, when you get to the sexual intimacy part of it, that has more to do with how you feel about each other.
Do you like me?
Yeah. I mean, that's the core. That's what makes that unity of the husband and wife unique.
Yeah, man. And I know a lot of couples, I'll say a lot, I know many couples, if you will, that are in their 60s and their 70s. They're not sexually active, but they like each other. They're ridiculous. And the ones that I know, like personally, I'll give them a hard time. Like, are y'all seriously not doing it? Y'all are about to be dead in like 10 years. And they'll laugh, and we all laugh, and they're like, you shut up. But they like each other's company. They're each other's best friend. And I think the thing here beneath the sex for me that's breaking my heart for you is y'all aren't friends anymore. And I think the hardest part for you is you've done what you knew to do to be a good provider and be a good husband. And those things are ringing hollow because the woman in your life doesn't like you, doesn't want to be around you, and doesn't want to sleep next to you, doesn't want to eat next to you unless it's somewhere nice, doesn't want to like be with you sexually, like all those questions. And so I think getting to the bottom of, you don't like me, I'd like to be your friend. And we have 30 years left together until we pass away. Like, I want to be your friend. Or the deeper question is, what would need to change in me that would make you like me? Not saying there's something wrong with you, you got to go change, but that's a way to ask that question, put it on the table, and maybe get some deeper things. So that's where I would start, man. Anytime, and this is for everybody listening, anytime there's a scary, terrifying question, that's usually the question that needs to get put on the table. And sometimes you can't just drop it like a grenade, but getting to that scariest question is often where the healing and or the revelation in a relationship challenge is.